My husband was once the kindest, loving, and caring person for me, but after he found out that I cheated on him for money, he changed dramatically. If someone called me a gold digger, it wouldn't be far from the truth. I found myself frequently daydreaming about a more luxurious lifestyle, while my husband struggled to make ends meet. At times, we even lived in a small home. I had the skill to successfully pilfer goods from grocery stores and shopping malls without getting caught. There were other occasions when I had to employ elaborate schemes and deception to evade detection. When my husband inquired about the origin of an item, I would claim that it was a gift from a friend or family member. One fateful day, while en route to a fancy boutique, I caught a glimpse of a breathtaking outfit. The outfit's elegance and allure called out to me, tantalizing me with the promise of a life that I could only dream of. I made a regrettable decision, as I was powerless against the temptation. Driven by my desire, I succumbed to temptation and stole a dress, thinking that it would improve and brighten up my worthless life at least a little. I didn't suspect that the store owner was following my every criminal step with the help of surveillance cameras. As I was about to exit the store, the owner intercepted me, fully cognizant that it was time to act. In a discreet location away from prying eyes, he approached me with a blend of apprehension and determination. The proprietor issued a stern warning, cautioning me about the consequences of my actions and declaring his readiness to involve law enforcement if need be. He revealed that he had personally observed me committing the theft. As I listened to the proprietor's words, my chest constricted, and a crimson flush of shame and regret stained my cheeks. I started to defend myself, feeling great shame and regret. I was as if trapped. As the proprietor expressed his dissatisfaction and apprehension, my defensive walls gradually crumbled. Slowly but surely, I began to comprehend the gravity of my actions and the potential consequences that could result if I persisted down this path. I concocted a plan to demonstrate contrition, and after summoning the courage to do so, I feigned remorse for my actions and admitted culpability. I offered a hollow apology and made a false pledge that I would never repeat my transgression. Additionally, I divulged my inner turmoil, revealing the despair and futility that had driven me to engage in illicit behavior. Despite my efforts, the store owner did not like my acting, and he realized that I was lying. Rather than involving law enforcement, the shop owner presented me with an alternative solution. With a shrewd gleam in his eye, he proposed that I work at the boutique to compensate for the stolen dress. But I was reluctant to accept payment for my labor, as I had witnessed the toil my husband endured to make ends meet, yet still struggled to provide for our family. Instead, I offered myself as compensation, which caught the proprietor off guard as he had not anticipated such a proposition. Initially taken aback, the proprietor eventually acquiesced to my offer. As we were alone and he was the only one who had seen me on camera, I was able to convince him to seize this chance. Consequently, he would not have to provide an explanation to anyone, and there would be no witnesses to our wrongdoing. I couldn't even think how it would all turn out for me. I just wanted to avoid hard work. Little did I know, however, that the proprietor had recorded everything and intended to profit from our video by posting it on the internet. Following that evening, I went back to my usual routine, unaware of the impending storm that was quickly closing in on me. Although I was dissatisfied with my life, I never contemplated ending my marriage. Despite my husband's lack of wealth, I valued his honesty and unwavering commitment to our relationship. I cherished the moments when he showed me affection, especially when everything else in my life appeared to be going awry. He was the only person who brought comfort into my life. It was my avarice that had led me down this treacherous path. I was going about my daily routine at home when my phone began blaring like a siren. Initially, I ignored it, but as it persisted without respite, I retrieved my phone, unlocked it, and perused the screen to ascertain the cause of the commotion. One of my friends had messaged me, urging me to check out a link as soon as possible. Despite numerous notifications from other people, I was shocked when I clicked on the link and saw a video of me having sex with the owner of the store. I refrained from responding to my friend or anyone else and instead snatched my bag and stormed out of my house. I proceeded to the store and requested that the proprietor join me in a secluded area to have a private conversation. Despite his apparent composure, I had doubts that he was unaware of the video. However, when I informed him that I had seen our video, he grinned and said that he was very worried about the success of this video. It was then that I grasped that he had deliberately recorded the video. I returned home, my legs trembling, and was at a loss for how to proceed. I powered down my phone to avoid any interactions with others as I was preoccupied with thoughts about my husband's reaction to the video. I worried about what he might do and knew that infidelity was not something anyone would see as a mere mistake. Glancing at the time, I realized he should have been home, but my apprehension prevented me from reaching out to him. Eventually, he arrived past midnight with a grin from ear to ear. I was caught off guard when I saw him grinning, as I had never seen him in such high spirits before. He told me to pack my things, but I tried to explain. He dismissed my explanations, stating that he didn't want to hear any of my excuses. When I asked why, he revealed that he had planned a romantic weekend getaway and had already paid for it. He didn't want to hear any reasons why we couldn't go. I was in disbelief and asked him to clarify if he meant that I should pack bags for both of us. He chuckled and explained that he couldn't go on a romantic trip alone, so it was evident that I should pack for both of us. Then he took my hands and expressed his gratitude for my hard work at home all day. He wanted to show his appreciation with a special getaway. He shared with me his intention to plan the perfect weekend escape, one that would create unforgettable memories. With a sparkle in his eye and a heart full of love, he meticulously arranged every detail. He secured reservations at a charming cottage nestled in an idyllic countryside, enveloped by rolling hills and vibrant wildflowers. The inviting fireplace, secluded deck with a serene lake view, and other essential amenities for a delightful weekend retreat were all included in this enchanting abode. It must have been quite expensive to arrange all of this. When I asked him about the cost, he told me that he had saved up for it. Seeing how much he cared about me and what he was willing to do for us, I felt even more disgusting person. Approaching and kissing me passionately, he confessed that he had specially chosen this place so that we could be alone and no one would stop us from enjoying our rest and privacy. At first, I was surprised because he's not the type of person to do something like that. However, I tried to rationalize my feelings by convincing myself that he was planning a surprise for me, like a romantic getaway. I closed my eyes, and then he bound my hands together behind my back. I thought it was such an interesting game, but suddenly he hit me and called me a stupid bastard. For a moment, I was in shock because he had never raised his voice at me before. But now he was hitting me and using foul language towards me. I couldn't believe what was happening. I asked him what was wrong, and he replied by accusing me of having the audacity to question him. When I started screaming for help, he reminded me that there was no one around to assist me. He explained that he had specifically chosen this place to punish me, ensuring that no one would hear my cries for help. Despite my pleas, he refused to listen and claimed that he was tired of me controlling him all these years. He believed that I should pay for my unfaithfulness. Moreover, He warned me that if I reported him, he would provide the authorities with evidence of my theft. I was bewildered and asked him how he managed to obtain evidence of my shoplifting. And then he said that he came to visit the owner of that very store. He beat him well and told him to keep his mouth shut. It was a confusing revelation. He took the tape from the shop owner and threatened to use it against me later. I started shouting at him, accusing him of meanness. In response, he only told me that I deserved it because I was unfaithful to him. I couldn't keep track of how many times he kicked and hit me. When I was about to lose consciousness, he left me alone in the secluded hut. I have no idea how long I was unconscious, but when I woke up, my entire body was in agonizing pain. My hands were still bound together, but I managed to free myself. I felt extremely thirsty, so I searched for water and eventually found some in the fridge. As I drank the water, I felt beads of sweat trickling down from my forehead to my temples. But choosing this sweat from my forehead, I realized that it was blood. I started to put myself in order. Instead of waiting any longer, I ventured outside to seek help. Unfortunately, there was no one in sight as far as my eyes could see. I realized that waiting around wouldn't be productive, so I started walking. After 30 minutes of walking, I stumbled upon an elevator. I informed the driver that I had been robbed and needed assistance. I told the driver that the robbers attacked me when I resisted. He drove me to the hospital, where I shared my story with the medical staff, received treatment, and then contacted my family once I had recuperated. But it looks like they also saw my video with the owner of the store, and they severed all ties with me. With nowhere else to turn, I contacted my husband once more. To my surprise, I learned that he had already filed for divorce and served me with papers. Since he was uncertain if I was still alive, my husband had my parents deliver the divorce papers to me. I attempted to find work, but no one in my area was willing to hire me, and my family and husband cut all ties with me. Despite my efforts, I couldn't secure employment. I begged for forgiveness from everyone, but no one was willing to grant me a second chance. Despite my pleas, I spent my nights sleeping in parks, on benches, by the roadside, and in tunnels. Waking up one day, I realized that my current situation, when I am homeless and I have nowhere to spend the night, when all my loved ones turned away from me, is my lifelong punishment for that ingratitude to loved ones and loved ones. I knew I couldn't sustain this way of life and had to escape. I relocated to a nearby city, anticipating new challenges. The realization of what a shitty person I was a revelation to me. I had been blessed with a caring spouse, a comfortable home, and ample food, yet I felt utterly alone. My insatiable desire for more had brought about my downfall. After enduring numerous setbacks and humbling myself in a new city, I secured a job as a waiter at a quaint cafe. Despite all my efforts, my struggle continued, and I did not lose hope that some of my suffering would soon end and I would atone for my guilt. In this city, I spent the night in a homeless shelter, and working in a cafe, I received a salary that was only enough for me to eat. Little did I know, this satisfaction was fleeting. My employer's wife recognized me because of the video and immediately fired me from my job, sending me back to normal. I was at the bottom of my life, but after a few weeks of searching, I got a job at a local grocery store. I felt it was necessary to be upfront with the proprietor about my past, knowing it may resurface at any moment. Maybe it was fate, or maybe the store owner has a generous heart, but this job led me to a fateful meeting with my mother a few months later while working there. During our encounter, my mother shared that my ex-husband was living a contented life with his new partner. The realization that everyone around me was thriving while I suffered through constant agony was a harrowing experience. It took me an entire month to regain my footing after reconnecting with my mother, whom I had been estranged from. I am all too aware that I have consistently been on the wrong side of history. Despite my struggles, I refuse to resign myself to a lifetime of misery and anguish. I deserve happiness, too. Consequently, I've been working on convincing myself to move forward and begin anew. After more than 6 months, I made the decision to dress nicely and apply makeup to mask the scars of my past. As a result, customers at the grocery store began complimenting my appearance. Just when I thought my luck had finally turned around, fate had other plans. On what was shaping up to be a great day, I spotted my ex-husband aimlessly pushing a shopping cart by himself. I was at a loss as to what to do. Should I approach him and offer an apology, let out my frustrations, or simply ignore him altogether? As I pondered my options, someone covered his eyes from behind. He turned around, revealing a broad grin as he embraced and kissed the person who had surprised him, a girl. I had never seen him smile like that when we were together. It occurred to me that I had never smiled like that when I was with him. But then again, I was always irritable, unpleasant, and constantly complaining about everything. After watching the lovebirds for a while, I made my way to the restroom. Looking at myself in the mirror, I concluded that I did not deserve to be happy. I believed that I would live the rest of my life in agony because I had always been ungrateful for the blessings in my life. I came to the realization that my ungrateful attitude had caused me to disrespect the one person who truly loved me. I believed that I deserved to endure this phase of my life as a result. I wiped away my makeup, dried my face. Finally, I had closure with my ex-husband, and I knew that this is how my life would continue from this point forward.